up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video I'm working on a build in Henford-on-Bagley. It's actually been a little while since I've built anything in this world for some reason. I don't really know why, but I have just not been feeling very inspired to build anything here. But for today's video we are building something here and I was feeling inspired to build a multi-unit lot here, or at least just two homes on one lot. So that is what we're doing. That is of course a functionality that we got with the latest expansion pack for rent, where you can build two functional, like separate houses, if you will, for separate households on one lot. So that's what we're doing here. I thought it would be cute to do this in the little downtown area of Henford-on-Bagley, the little town center, if you will. I thought it'd be cute to build two really cute like little townhouses or cottages or cottage townhouses. At this moment I'm not exactly sure on what I want to call this, but essentially it's two townhouses in Henford-on-Bagley. So they look like little cottages and they're really small and really close together, like it's a really cramped lot. They also have the tiniest backyards, which I personally find very cute. I was playing around with some fencing and stuff as well around the backyards, which makes it extra cozy but also extra cramped. So these houses are both pretty small. They are exactly the same in regards to like the shape, except they're mirrored. So the floor plans are also the same but mirrored. And then I did give them each their own little layout on the inside, of course, and then also their own color schemes for the exterior, because I didn't want these houses to be exactly the same. I wanted them to have their own like personality, if you will, and I just wanted the vibes to be a little different, but very similar, and I just wanted them to look cute next to each other essentially. So that's what I'm doing today. You can see that the house on the left is a bit lighter in colors and the house on the right is a little bit more like moody, a little darker. So that's what I went with for the interiors for these homes as well. And these houses are actually limited pack builds. Mind you, I did use like a small list of packs, but I did not go like unlimited all packs everywhere. So I wrote it down because I can't seem to remember. So I wrote it down. I used cottage living, of course, because we're building in Henford-on-Bagley. We're using seasons, and we're using Journey to Batu. Mind you, that's only for the tiles that I end up using on the outside, like the floor tiles on the outside, the pathways are Journey to Batu. But I just like those tiles so, like, they were just so perfect. I like them so much that I was like, you know what? If you don't have Journey to Batu, literally the only thing that would be missing is the tiles for like the pathway outside. So I thought I could get away with that. And my chat on Twitch actually agreed with that as I was building this. So I took that as a go. I also used Nifty Knitting, Blooming Rooms, and Country Kitchen. And then I also used Castle Estate, but again, only for one item. I used Castle Estate for the foundation for the chimneys. So it's kind of ridiculous. I could have used any other like different foundation, but I just really liked the foundation here around the chimney. It just looked so good and it matched pretty much seamlessly and it was just really nice. So I decided, like with Journey to Batu, if you don't have that kit, it's fine. Just swap out your foundation around the chimney and you're good to go. So that's the list of packs and kits that I used for these builds. So it's really not that bad. I feel like they're pretty easy to download for that reason. And I'm kind of proud of that. Like, it was fun to do another limited pack build. I have been trying to be more mindful of the packs that I use in my speed builds, though not all the time. Like sometimes when I'm building something, I'm just really in a zone and I just kind of go crazy and I use whatever I want. But also because I've been building, of course, on stream a lot, and a lot of people that are watching the streams don't have all the packs. So I just find it fun that people get excited whenever I do like limited pack builds because they can download them more easily, and it's just fun and it's a little bit more rewarding in that sense as well. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've been trying to keep an eye on my pack usage, if you will. It's not always successful, but for this one I really tried and I feel like I did pretty good, except of course for the Journey to Batu. I always really try to avoid Journey to Batu anything. I barely ever use it ever. It's kind of become a habit where I just really avoid it. I don't look at the stuff in that pack because so many people just like don't have it and don't want to get it, and that's completely understandable as well. And I personally don't really miss it in my everyday build, like in my everyday building, but every once in a while I'm like, you know what? I have this pack. There is some stuff in here that I like, that I actually like. And the tiles is one of those things. The tiles in Journey to Batuu are really good. And I may or may not have actually bought that pack back in the day when it first came out because I just really liked the tile and I really wanted to use that. So I know it's terrible. I'm guilty of that. I've done that with different packs before where I just purchased them because there's this one item that I really wanted. I remember I got, I think it was Dine Out, specifically because I really liked that one plant, like the potted indoor plant that I just thought was so beautiful, and I saw people use it in speed builds all the time. And back then I didn't do like videos or anything yet, like I didn't create content with The Sims, and I really wanted that pack so badly, so I purchased it for the plant. And then later on I started to really embrace the restaurant functionality and like being able to build restaurants and stuff like that. So that came later on. But yeah, initially I bought that for just the plant. And I think the same goes for Get to Work. I didn't get that pack until way later, also because of that one plant, you know, the one that I'm talking about, like the skinny tall plant that goes so well in literally any corner that you just have sitting that's empty in your homes. It's so perfect for that. So yeah, that's one of those packs that I also purchased for initially just one item. Let me know if you're the same. Are you guilty of this? Have you purchased packs before just for the sake of one or two items because you really wanted those? Like, let me know. I'm so interested to see if I'm the only one here or if more people do that. Anyway, you can really see the exteriors of these townhomes come together. I also placed some chickens out front for one of the houses, as you can see. Now, I didn't really have a lot of space left on these on this lot for like yards or gardening areas or anything, but I did try to like make some space for gardening. We have some planter pots in the yard and like behind the houses. And then of course, I also had to put in the chickens because this is the chicken pack. I call this the chicken pack on stream all the time. Main reason is because I can't remember all these packs names. So for me, the cottage living pack is the chicken pack. That's just how it lives in my brain. So because I was using that one, I had to use chickens and like place a little chicken coop out front. So I did that and I thought it looked so cute. And of course I went crazy with ivy. I've been obsessed with ivy lately. I've been using the one from Jungle Adventure, you know, the vines, like the ivy that with the flowers. It has purple flowers by default, and then there's also a white and a red version. I've been using those a lot lately, not for this house, so it's literally very random that I'm talking about this right now, but I've been really obsessed with using vines and ivy on exteriors lately again, so I did that for this pack as well. Thankfully, there's some really great vines in the chicken pack debug, the cottage living debug. It's really good. So I used that on these houses as well, so it doesn't cost any money. And then here you can see I placed some tiles outside. Now this is the Jungle Adventure tile that I used initially because I remember when Cottage Living first came out, I really enjoyed using the Jungle Adventure tile for like exteriors or for like kitchens and bathrooms and stuff because it looks very rustic and it just goes very nicely with this pack. So initially my brain just kind of went there, but then I noticed that I literally was only using those tiles as an item from Jungle Adventure. So I was like, you know what? I kind of want to swap that out because that's annoying. But then I decided that I wanted to use the Batuu. So it didn't solve my issue in that regard at all. If anything, it made it worse because I feel like way more people have the Jungle Adventure pack than they do the Batuu pack. But, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes it just happens, and I never use anything from Journey to Batuu, so I thought it was fine to use the tiles. So I did that here. But as you can see, I really did not have a lot of space here around the house to do landscaping at all. So I tried my best with the space that I had, which was not a lot, and I just placed a bunch of debug plants. And I was having so much fun with using the Cottage Living debug rose bushes. I really like those so much. I forget that they're there all the time. And again, when cottage living first came out, I was obsessed with those debug plants, like those rose bushes. I thought I was going to use them all the time everywhere. And I definitely did use them a lot, but I don't tend to use them a lot outside of Henford-on-Bagley for some reason, which is kind of odd because I feel like they're very versatile and they definitely look good basically anywhere. And they're very basic in that sense, but I just keep forgetting that they're there. And then every time I'm building here in this specific world, I'm like, oh, right, those rose bushes, they're so cute. So I tried to place as many of those as I could with the space that I had, which was not a lot. And then, of course, I'm also placing some mailboxes out here. Now, I did build this with the idea of it being a residential rental. Of course, you would have to have for rent, like the for rent expansion pack for this lot to work in that way. If you don't have it, then I didn't actually use it in the sense that I didn't use any items or anything from this pack, and the build is also on the gallery as a regular residential. So you don't have to have for rent to be able to download this house and have it look the way it looks. But if you want to use the multi-unit, like residential rental lot type, then you can just, then you're gonna have to have the for rent pack, of course. But if you don't have that, you could just use it as a residential and you could move in like one large household. I think it would even be fun to play with like a generation, like one big multi-generation household, because the first house that I decorated, which is the one on the left with the lighter exterior, that one is for a younger family. I was thinking a family of 2 parents and 2 kids. Each house, by the way, has 2 bedrooms. They both have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, I believe. 1.5 bathroom, I want to say. There's a full bathroom upstairs, like a full hall bath, and then a half bathroom or like a powder room downstairs for each of these houses. And like I said, they have 2 bedrooms each. And then the first one here that I decorated was for a younger family, for a family of 2 parents. Could also be 1 parent, of course, but I was just kind of imagining 2 parents and 2 kids that share a bedroom upstairs. So immediately my brain always just goes twins, because that's just, I don't know, that's just what happens. If you have 2 kids in The Sims, to me, that screams twins. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be like, there could be a little bit of an age difference there, if you will. That's definitely a possibility as well. You could even swap it out and turn it into like a teen/kid bedroom. That's also a possibility. But I was thinking specifically 2 kids. That's what I furnished it for. And then the darker house on the right is for a family without kids. And I was thinking an elderly couple. I don't know why, but that's just kind of what I was thinking. And I used a lot of nifty knitting in that house because I was thinking that maybe one of the Sims living there is very crafty. They like to do knitting. They like to do cross stitching. So I used a bunch of nifty knitting in that one. So it could be fun to like play with a large household of multiple generations here and have the grandparents live in one house and then the parents and the grandkids live in this house, for example. I feel like that's definitely a possibility and kind of fun as well. Here you can see I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. The kitchen layout was giving me a struggle because I just wasn't sure what to do with the overhead cabinets. So I ended up not using any cabinets in these kitchens, which is weird for me. I always use cabinets. I just love to use them. I feel like they make the kitchen look more complete. And I just like the way it looks, like it's super cozy. For this one, the way I did the windows, the cabinets were definitely giving me a little bit of a struggle, and the windows are pretty big. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna fill up the space with curtains and then just do some shelves for this one. Now, the kitchen in the second home looks different, and even though it's the same space and the same shape and the same size, I ended up making it look a little different, and I actually used cabinets in that one as well. So there's 2 ways. I kind of tried to showcase 2 different ways to do the kitchens in this exact same space for these 2 different houses. So that's what I tried. But here you can see the kitchen is coming together. I feel like this one is super cozy. I really tried to make it very colorful, as you can see. Also, just that goes for the house in general. I tried to make it very colorful and cozy, and I used a lot of patterns. Of course, the cottage living pack comes with a couple of variants of wallpapers that have these really cute prints. As you can see, like this flowery pattern that I'm using here in the hallway, and I think in the living room as well. It's just very cute. So I used that, and yeah, for the layout for these houses, it's very closed off, which I thought would make sense for these houses since they're like older, rustic traditional, maybe a little bit outdated cottages. That's what I was going for, and I like to do closed off floor plans for those types of houses. So that's naturally what I did for this one as well. And then here we have the living room. I have the perfect nook for this huge fireplace. So I did that for both of the houses. I put in these big fireplaces and I just think it looks so cozy. I did place that one chair a little bit, like that armchair is a bit close to it. So I don't think I actually put a fire alarm by the fireplace, but if you do download these houses and you play with them, that might be a smart thing to do, to just quickly kind of place a fire alarm somewhere by the fireplace, because I feel like that chair might be a bit close to it and it might catch on fire, which would be very unfortunate. And then we have this perfect nook here by the window for a 4-seater dining table. There's also a small table in the kitchen itself, but I was looking at that as more of like a breakfast nook. And then we have the actual dining table here in the living dining room by the fireplace. And yeah, I was just trying to clutter up the space a little bit. As you can see, maybe or maybe not, I was definitely struggling a little bit with the layout for this. Not so much the floor plan. The floor plan for these homes came together pretty easily, but the layout was a little bit of a different story. I thought this was a perfect space, like a perfect area for a living dining all in one, and it was. But for some reason, I was struggling with how to lay out the living room area specifically, with the couch and the chair and then the fireplace. Thankfully, it worked out the way it did, and I really like how it ended up looking. But yeah, it was not something that came easily to me. I did have to cut out some footage because it definitely took me a little bit to actually, you know, get it all sorted and make it look cute. And then of course I used a lot of flowers and plants in here as well. I didn't have a huge amount of clutter that I could use because, like I said, this is a limited pack build. Thankfully, Cottage Living comes with a lot of clutter that I just really like in general, a lot of kitchen clutter too, which was a huge help. And then the country kitchen kit also comes with a lot of clutter that actually goes hand in hand seamlessly, like it's perfect combined with the Cottage Living clutter. So that was actually nice. But yeah, that was about it for like the clutter packs in this regard. I was using blooming rooms as well. So I definitely did have a lot of like cute plants to pick from. Over here, by the way, you can see that we have a very narrow half bathroom. It's a bit of an awkward space, but it did make a lot of sense the way I placed it here for the layout or for the floor plan. And it's nice to have a second bathroom, or like a half bathroom, a second toilet, I want to say, for these houses is actually nice because it is only a 2-bedroom house, but still, like if you have 4 Sims living here, then a second toilet, like a second half bath, might actually be really, really useful. So that's what I decided to do. And that way we also got like a bathroom downstairs. I really did not want to have like one bathroom and have it only be upstairs for these houses. I thought that would be a little too awkward. So I didn't do that. I was able to put in a half bath downstairs, which was nice. And then here we have the parents' bedroom. I was trying to do something fun and something cute here with the headboard. The area where I placed the bed is pretty narrow, so I didn't really have space for actual like full-size nightstands. I had like a little bit of space for smaller ones. I could have done that, but I was like, you know what, let's try to create like a custom headboard, if you will, by using these end tables. I used 2 end tables together. I kind of merged them together and they overlap, and it looks very buggy in that sense because they're overlapping, but I placed the bed in front of it, of course, so you can't see it anymore. And so it just kind of looks like one long extended little nightstand, if you will, behind the bed and also next to the bed. And I really like how it ended up looking. So I just put a couple of night lights on there and some plants, of course. And then I really tried to make this bedroom very cozy. We have that beautiful dresser with the mirror from the Cottage Living pack. I really like how that one looked. And then I put a nice little chair in front of it. And then after the parents' bedroom, we're moving on to the shared kids' room. I was immediately thinking bunk beds because I thought it would make the most sense and it would be the most space saving in here as well. And then I had a little bit of trouble with how to place them. And also we don't have a lot of cute bunk beds in the game that are base game. And I was using limited packs, of course. So the only bunk beds that I had to pick from were the base game ones for this build specifically. And the base game ones are not the cutest. They're very basic and versatile, but I didn't really like them for this house. Though I will say this swatch with the brown bedding actually kind of grew on me. I like how it looks. I like the pattern and the colors, like the dark brown is kind of outdated. And I don't know, I kind of like how it looks. It's very outdated in a cute, cozy way, if you will. So that's what I did in here. And that did make it so, like, the way that I placed the beds did make it so that I had some space underneath this lofted bed for a desk. Of course, it only has space for one sim to sit at a time, but at least they have a desk and it gave me an extra surface for some clutter. Then for the rest, they have some toys here. They have a toy box, a Blarfy, and a creativity table, like a little crafting table. And I thought that was nice. Like, that's a nice amount of toys, of course, and that was all I had space for. I don't think I had the space outside for like monkey jungle bars or anything. So you might want to like go to the park with your kids if you actually do end up playing in this house. It might be nice to just like go to the park and use the play equipment there. I'm not sure if there's play equipment somewhere in this world, like just in the areas where you can walk to when you're playing the game in live mode. I think there probably should be, but I just can't remember it from the top of my head. Here upstairs, of course, we have the hall bathroom. It's very basic, but I really enjoyed specifically using that sink. I don't know why, but I was really enjoying that base game sink in here, so I used that. Don't know why, but I just thought it looked cute. And then here you can see we have a tiny little back porch that I actually think is very cozy because it's so overgrown with the ivy and the vines. I just thought it was so cute. And then there is the smallest little area that is fenced off that is part of this like home's backyard, if you will. So I had the perfect nook for some outdoor bins, so I quickly placed those for both of them. And then for the rest, these yards are really small, so I didn't really have a lot of space for activities or anything. I did end up placing a handiness table and then, of course, a couple of planter pots. So there is that for your Sims to do. And that, I think, is essentially it for the first home. I did have some space here right next to the fence for both of these houses. So I decided to place some larger planter pots there with some I think it was cherry trees or apple trees. I'm not exactly remembering what I placed, but I did some fruit trees in there. I thought that would be cute and a nice little gardening thingy for your Sims to do a little extra activity. And after that, we're moving on to the second house, which, like I said, is the more darker, the moodier twin of the house next door, if you will. That's kind of what I was going for this one. And of course, this house doesn't have room for kids. I mean, it has room for kids, but I didn't furnish it for a family with kids. I furnished it for one or two elderly Sims living here, and one of those Sims is very much into crafting, knitting, cross-stitching. So that's kind of what I tried to show in this house. And I wanted to do something different for the layout in here, as you can see, for the living room space, because I didn't really want to just copy the layout but use different furniture. So I tried to do something different here. I was set on using this love seat from Nifty Knitting, and I like the way it looks right now, but I did end up swapping it out for the couch from Cottage Living, the 3-seater couch that I used in the first house as well. Because for some reason, this love seat, it was just too small, and I had the space for a larger couch in here, and I just really wanted something to fill up the space a little bit more. So I decided to go for a 3-seater instead of this love seat, but I do like this layout a lot. I like that the couch isn't facing the fireplace. That's always my go-to when I like try to figure out a layout for a living room and there's a fireplace. I feel like my brain just immediately goes, the couch has to face the fireplace because that's where the TV is going to be, and it has to face that. But it doesn't have to. Like, there's freedom there. You don't have to do that. But for some reason, that's just a little bit stuck in my brain. But thankfully, I could snap out of that for this one. I was trying to, branch out a little bit and do something different, like I said, because I didn't really want to copy the same layout just with different furniture or different colors. So I did it the way I did it, and I think it actually turned out really cute. Here you can see I'm swapping out the couch, and I was so unsure about it, but I decided to do it anyway, and I think it looks cute because it fills out the space better, and it just looks more cramped and cozy that way. We have a small dining table in here, and I used some pops of red, which is wild because I've said this before on the channel, but red is not my go-to color. I do not really like the color red. It definitely depends, of course, on the shade, but for some reason, like the Christmassy red isn't really my vibe, though I did definitely use some pops of that like Christmas red here in this house, and I actually think it goes really nicely with the more moody, darker vibe that we have going on. And here you can see we're moving on to the kitchen. I was kind of copying the same layout of the cabinets and the countertops in here, but then at some point I changed it up a little bit and I made it look a little bit different. We have some extra shelves in here as well, and I just decided to have the countertops go around the corner, and that way I could add some overhead cabinets as well, which I actually really enjoyed. And it looks a little cramped and a little weird. It's not necessarily a kitchen layout that I would do very often or that I would normally go for, but because of like the shape of the space and just like how it looked and how it worked out, I feel like it just worked out nicely and it actually looks very cozy. I was happy to be able to use some overhead cabinets here because I definitely missed that in the previous house. I always just feel like whenever I create kitchens without cabinets, I always feel like there's something missing. And of course you can use other things instead, like curtains and shelves and things. But for some reason, I just always like the cozy look with cabinets. So I was happy to do that in this house. Maybe this is the like unrenovated version of the house next door. Not that the house next door looks super renovated, but maybe they like redid the kitchen or took out some cabinets to free up some space, you know, because they have a bigger family. Maybe that's something that they did. And then maybe this one is the unrenovated version of the kitchen that's way more cramped with less space for walking around, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was doing. And then we have some shelves here that I was cluttering up. I was really enjoying using some colorful clutter in here. And this kitchen should be fully functional. I did make space for actual cooking, so I left one or two countertops free of decorations. I think just one. I usually just do one free, like decoration free countertop for cooking because I just like cluttering up my kitchens too much. So I always try to keep two free of clutter so you can have Sims cook together. But for some reason it never ends up working out for me because I just love my clutter too much. I can't help it. And then for this house, we also have one of those downstairs half bathrooms that is just very cramped, but very useful to have. And then upstairs, we have the tiniest landing where I decided to place an extra bookcase and just a plant and a little artwork on the wall, of course. And then I did the bathroom for this one off camera because that was starting to feel a little bit too repetitive. And then I did do a different layout here in the bedroom as well, because like I said, I didn't just want to repeat the same layout with different furniture. I wanted to kind of showcase different ways to furnish two identical rooms with identical window situations. So that's what I did here, and I really like this one. I've been using this living or bedroom set from Seasons a lot lately. I really fell in love again with this dresser. I have always really liked that dresser, but for some reason lately I've been using it a lot again, and I just think it's so pretty. The swatches are nice and very versatile, very easy to combine with different beds and like nightstands and stuff too. So that's the one that I used in here, and you can definitely tell that this bedroom is a lot darker. I used a lot of browns, also a darker swatch of the wallpaper. I think I used this same wallpaper for the bedroom in the house next door, but this is just a darker swatch, like a darker version of it. And then the second bedroom for this house I turned into a crafting room. At first, I wanted to turn it into a guest bedroom / crafting room, but the room is not that big, and the nifty knitting pack comes with a lot of cool like shelves and cabinets and little nightstands and like stuff like that, or nightstands, even like little end tables. So I really enjoyed using the items from Nifty Knitting in here, so I decided, you know what? We're not gonna have an extra bed in here. I'm just gonna do Nifty Knitting furniture because I love it so much. And it comes in that swatch with red, like the very orangey wood tone and the red, which I thought was really perfect for this house. I'm not necessarily using a lot of orangey wood tones in this house, but I don't know, it just felt very fitting for this room, like this one crafting room with very matchy furniture. For some reason, it just really felt very fitting to me. So that's what I went with. And then for the rest for this room, of course, there's just a bunch of nifty knitting decorations, stuff that this person has knitted, and that they're maybe, I don't know, selling or giving away. I gave them a little tablet because maybe they like run a Plopsy shop, which is the Sims equivalent of Etsy. Maybe they run a little shop online where they sell their creations. Stuff like that is what I was thinking, and there was no computer in this house otherwise. So I decided to just put a little tablet in and call it a day. I think tablets and computers basically have the same functionalities in game, so it's really nice. I need to try to keep that in mind because I always put computers. I always make space for laptops and computers, but you might as well just use a tablet. It's cheaper too. So I think at least they have the same functionalities. I'm not exactly sure, but it's something that I just don't think of very often. So it's a nice, useful thing to know. And then of course we have that same back porch situation here where I just also put a nice outdoor 4-seater dining table, some plants and some decorations. I think for an activity in this yard, I think I put a little telescope. Thank God we have the smaller ones now, which is very useful. Yeah, I put a little telescope for an extra skill building activity for this one. And then that's basically going to be it. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the houses in real time. So here we have the houses in the game. This lot is a little bit difficult. There is not really a way where you can get sunlight hitting the front of the build directly, so it always looks a little bit dark, but for some reason it kind of looks cozy and fitting for this one. I just had my sim purchase some chickens because I thought I would just show you how cute it looks. She's just like scattering some feed and we have some chickens. The chickens will kind of be roaming around in this area, even though that's not part of this lot. They still will be like walking around over there, and I just think that's very, very cozy. So yeah, it's just the vibe. So over here you can see this is the front of the houses. We have the tiny front porches here, and this is that Batu tile that I was talking about. It looks so pretty here and it's just so perfect, but of course it's easy to swap out for something else. There's a little alleyway here in between the houses, and then of course in the back we have the tiny backyards, the tiny porches and little grass areas for this house as well, like a tiny porch and a couple of activities, and then some planters here as well, and I put some cherry trees in. Then over here we have the first house. So of course we have just a little entryway over here that I tried to make look cozy with a coat rack and just your regular entryway stuff. And then immediately to your left we have the kitchen. This is the kitchen without the overhead cabinets. It's a bit odd, but I do like how this one looks. It feels very spacious and I like the colors. So there's a stove and a sink, of course, all your kitchen appliances, and then over here we have a small breakfast table. Through this archway we have the living and dining, and it feels so bright in here. It's not too cramped, like these spaces aren't too cluttered because I didn't have a lot of clutter to pick from with this limited pack build. So it feels pretty spacious, but there's definitely some stuff going on here. We have a nice fireplace here, dining table by the window, which I always feel like is so cozy. And then there is a bookcase here, and behind the couch here is a door into the half bath. Going upstairs, we have the tiniest landing, and off of the landing we have the hall bathroom, of course, and then over here is the parents' room. I really like this kind of headboard situation. It's not really a headboard, it's more so a nightstand situation, I guess, but I like how it looks. There's a lot of plants here, a small dresser, and then an additional dresser over here with a mirror above it. And then moving on to this side is the kids' room. I love this base game rug combined with this wallpaper. It's not necessarily matching, it doesn't really go together, but it is cute. Like, it's the same vibe. I just really like it. And then especially combined with these blue curtains, I think it's really cute. So we have space for up to 2 kids or teenagers in this room. You can obviously swap out the toys if you don't need them. But yeah, this room is big enough. Definitely, even when your 2 kids turn into teenagers, I feel like this would definitely still fit. And then we're moving on to the house next door. So they have some additional planters here on the front porch, and this is their hallway. There's a taller dresser in here, but for the rest, it's basically the same layout. And here we have the archway leading you into the kitchen. So in this kitchen, we have a couple of cabinets, as you can see here. I had the counters just kind of go around the corner like this to put in some extra counter space, if you will. There's a microwave here and some clutter here, a coffee maker, of course, a sink, and I really like these shelves too. I was imagining these to be cookbooks or like recipe books. And then there's a small china cabinet in here. And then over here we have the living and dining, which is a lot darker and more moody compared to the house next door, but it feels very cozy. I love the layout of this living room. We just have these two chairs. These nifty knitting chairs go pretty much seamlessly with this couch, I feel. They're not exactly the same, but they really match nicely. Also a fireplace in here with a small TV, a little red dining table in the corner here, and a rocking chair where you can do some knitting or cross stitching, of course. And then over here we have that same half bathroom. Then upstairs we have that same small landing and a bathroom that I didn't actually furnish on camera, but it is just my standard bathroom layout that just always works in my opinion. Over here we have the main bedroom. I thought this tropical painting was a bit random, but it really brightens up the space, like it adds in some color, so I use it anyway. So a nice double bed from Seasons, and then a dresser, of course, as well, with some knitted stuff on top and a chair in the corner. And then for this one, the second bedroom was turned into a hobby room or knitting room or craft room, whatever you want to call it. This desk from Nifty Knitting is so cute. I need to use this more often. We have some clutter here, a little tablet, some extra storage in this cabinet, and then of course some extra storage over here as well, and another rocking chair in the corner. But that is basically it for these homes. So these two small townhomes are up on the gallery as a residential. I only used Cottage Living, Seasons, Batu, Nifty Knitting, Castle Estate, Blooming Rooms, and Country Kitchen, so it's really not that bad. And like I said, Journey to Batu was only for the tile, and Castle Estate was only for that one foundation. So without those two, you're perfectly fine. And I built it on a 20 by 20 in the world of Henford on Bagley in the little city center area. So if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. And I also uploaded these two townhouses unfurnished with just the exterior done. I forgot to mention that earlier, but I did also upload a version where I just did the exterior and the bare floor plan. For that one, I did use the Jungle Adventure tile for the exterior. This was before I swapped it out. So this one uses even less packs, and then you can furnish it yourself if you want to. So that's there too. But that's gonna do it for today's video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can of course go ahead and download this build off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can also follow me on Instagram and on TikTok if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you would like to get notified of every single time I upload a video, just click the little bell icon and you should be fine. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!